Everybody who smiles at you is not your friend. Everybody who claps for you is not celebrating you. Sometimes the loudest amen comes from the same mouth that will stab you in the back. But here's the good news. God never leaves you blind. He has a way of exposing fake people, because what He has for your life cannot be poisoned by pretenders. Not everyone smiling at you is genuine, and that is one of the hardest lessons to learn in life. We live in a world where appearances can be deceiving. A smile can hide envy. A handshake can conceal betrayal. A compliment can mask resentment. Some of the very people you think are for you are secretly working against you, and it is only by the grace and wisdom of God that these individuals are revealed for who they truly are. When you begin to walk in your purpose, when you start to step into the assignment God has for you, you will notice that not everyone is truly happy for you, even though their face may suggest otherwise. The Bible reminds us that the heart of man is deceitful above all things. This means that people can easily wear masks, showing you what they want you to see while hiding what they really feel. Fake people often know how to play the role. They will smile in your face and even applaud your efforts, but their hearts carry jealousy, bitterness, or hidden agendas. What makes it dangerous is that sometimes we mistake their outward expressions for inward truth. We assume the ones closest to us are also the ones rooting for us, but often God has to open our eyes to show us that the crowd clapping the loudest may also be the ones hoping we fail. This is why discernment is so important. Without discernment, you can become trapped in unhealthy relationships, false friendships, or partnerships that were never intended for your growth. Discernment is that inner voice, that spiritual alert system that tells you something is not right even when everything looks fine on the surface. It is God's way of helping you navigate the difference between the people who truly love you and the ones pretending to love you. Because the truth is, smiles can lie, but the Spirit of God never will. You will know when a smile is not genuine because it lacks consistency. A real supporter will celebrate you when you succeed and comfort you when you struggle. A fake supporter will only smile when you are beneath them, when your life does not challenge their insecurities. But the moment God starts blessing you, the moment doors begin to open, their smile turns into envy. They cannot genuinely rejoice with you because your breakthrough reminds them of what they do not have. That is not true support. That is competition disguised as love. Think back to moments in your life when you accomplished something meaningful. Maybe it was a new job, a promotion, a relationship, or a personal milestone. Did you notice how some people reacted? Real love is steady. Fake love is conditional. Some people who once smiled at you suddenly grew silent. Others who used to encourage you began to distance themselves. And a few who celebrated you face to face may have been criticizing you behind your back. This is how God slowly peels back the layers and shows you who is real and who is not. But do not let this truth make you bitter. Instead, let it make you wiser. If God reveals that not every smile is genuine, It is not to make you distrust everyone, but to help you guard your spirit and surround yourself with authenticity. You cannot carry everybody into your destiny. Some people are only with you for the benefits, not for the journey. God reveals these people not to discourage you, but to free you from unnecessary baggage. One of the greatest mistakes you can make is to ignore the signs and keep entertaining fake people because you want their smile to be real. Many of us repaint the mask, convincing ourselves that the people God is exposing are actually for us. But when someone shows you who they truly are, believe it. Their smile may be wide, but their heart may be far from you. And if God allows you to see their true colors, it is because He wants to protect you from the damage they could cause later. In life, you do not need a crowd of people smiling around you. You need a circle of people who will stand with you in truth. It is far better to walk with 2 real friends than to sit surrounded by 20 fake ones. So, when God reveals that not everyone smiling is genuine, take it as a blessing. He is not exposing people to hurt you. He is exposing them to protect you. And the moment you release the fake, you make space for the real connections, the real love, and the real support He has prepared for you. Elevation exposes pretenders, and this truth can be both painful and liberating. When God begins to lift you higher, not everyone around you can handle the change. Some people are comfortable with you as long as you stay on their level. But the moment God begins to bless you, promote you, or increase you, their true intentions are revealed. It is during the climb, not at the bottom, that masks begin to slip. Everyone can pretend to be supportive when nothing is happening in your life, but when favor begins to show up and God begins to open doors, the pretenders can no longer hide who they are. Elevation has a way of making the real and the fake obvious. When you are struggling, people can disguise their jealousy because your situation does not threaten them. They can smile, laugh, and even say they are praying for you. But once your life shifts, once you start walking in the blessings God promised, their attitude changes. Suddenly, the ones who used to encourage you become distant. The ones who said they had your back now act like your success is an inconvenience. They are uncomfortable with your progress because it reminds them of their own stagnation. Pretenders are skilled at hiding until the test of elevation comes. You see, God doesn't only promote you for your benefit, He promotes you to reveal who really belongs in your life. Not everyone can handle the altitude of your assignment. Some relationships were only designed for the ground level, and God cannot allow them to travel with you into higher places because they would weigh you down. He uses your elevation as a divine filter, shaking off people who are not truly invested in your purpose. It is important to understand that your elevation will expose hearts. Someone who said, "I'll always be there," might turn cold when you step into the light of success. They are fine cheering for you in the shadows, but when God puts you on display, envy starts to rise in them. They cannot clap genuinely because your growth challenges their comfort. Elevation doesn't change who they are, It simply reveals who they were all along. The smile was a mask. The handshake was a cover. The hug was an act. The higher you go, the harder it becomes for people to pretend. Do not mistake exposure for loss. When God allows someone's true colors to come out, He is not trying to punish you. He is protecting you. Some people cannot celebrate your new season because they were never meant to be part of it. Their absence in your next chapter is God's way of preserving your destiny. He knows that if they stay too long, their jealousy could turn into sabotage, their insecurity could become manipulation, and their presence could delay your progress. Sometimes you don't lose people, you discover who they truly were, and that discovery is your gain. Think about Joseph in the Bible. His elevation exposed the jealousy of his brothers. As long as Joseph was just another shepherd boy, they tolerated him. But when God gave him a dream of greatness, their envy came alive. His elevation revealed the pretenders. What looked like betrayal was actually God's way of positioning him for destiny. The same is true in your life. God will use the process of lifting you to expose the hidden motives of the people around you. This is why you should never beg people to stay when God reveals they cannot handle your elevation. Stop trying to drag dead weight into new seasons. If they are meant to be there, they will rise with you. If not, let them go. It is better to walk with a few who are real than to be surrounded by many who are fake. And sometimes the only way you find out who is real is by letting God elevate you, because the higher you go, the thinner the air becomes, and not everyone is built to breathe at that level. So don't fear exposure, and don't resent the pretenders who fall away. Thank God for using your elevation as a tool to separate you from people who were never for you. Your blessing is not just about you. It is about aligning you with the right people who can walk with you in truth. Remember, this elevation is not just a reward, it is a revelation. And when God takes you higher, it is not only to lift you up, but also to clear your view so you can finally see who was real and who was pretending all along. Rejection is God's protection, and though it never feels pleasant in the moment, it often becomes the very thing that saves us from heart attach, distraction, or destruction. Nobody likes to be rejected. It stings to be told no, to be overlooked, to be abandoned, or to be pushed aside. Yet what we often call rejection is sometimes the hand of God redirecting our steps and shielding us from what we cannot see. When someone walks out of your life, when an opportunity closes, when a door shuts in your face, it does not always mean something is wrong with you. Sometimes it means God is saying, I know what's ahead, and I love you too much to let you go down that path. Rejection is painful because it challenges our desire to be accepted, valued, and included. We crave belonging, and when people we trusted turn away, it leaves a mark. But often, if you look back over your life, you will see that what felt like rejection at the time was actually the beginning of redirection. That relationship you cried over, that job you didn't get, that group that didn't welcome you, may all have been God's way of pulling you out of the wrong place to position you for the right one. He protects us from things we may not recognize as harmful because he sees what we cannot. Many times rejection is the very thing that preserves our purpose. If everyone stayed, if every door opened, if every yes was given, you might find yourself tied to people and places that would limit your growth or corrupt your spirit. Rejection saves you from carrying people who cannot be trusted, from accepting opportunities that would drain you, and from aligning with situations that are beneath the destiny God has written for you. That's why you cannot despise rejection. You must learn to discern it. What looks like loss is often love. God's love for you is so strong that he will allow temporary pain to spare you from permanent damage. Think of how many times in scripture rejection turned out to be protection. David was rejected by his own family, left out in the field when Samuel came to anoint a king. His father did not even consider him worthy to be in the lineup. That rejection hurt, but it was God's protection, because David's destiny was not tied to his father's approval. His calling came from heaven, not from the opinions of men. Joseph was rejected by his brothers, sold into slavery, and cast aside. What seemed like the worst kind of betrayal was really God's plan to protect him from staying small. He had to be rejected in order to be positioned for the palace. Even Jesus was rejected by the very ones he came to save, yet that rejection was part of the divine plan of salvation in your own life. When you face rejection, remember this: God knows who and what belongs in your future. If someone walks away, let them. If the door slams shut, don't force it open. If an opportunity passes by, trust that something greater is being prepared. Sometimes God allows rejection because the people you are trying to hold on to cannot handle the weight of your calling. Their loyalty is shallow, their motives are selfish, or their character is not strong enough for where God is taking you. By removing them now, God is sparing you from the betrayal, heartbreak, or failure that would have come later. It is human nature to want answers, to ask why people reject us, why opportunities fade, why doors don't open. But faith is trusting that God's no is just as powerful as his. A no from man can still be the setup for a yes from God. A closed door in one place can be the very thing that positions you to walk through a greater door elsewhere. When rejection happens, your assignment is not to chase what is leaving, but to trust what God is doing. Rejection is protection because it aligns you with destiny. Every closed door, every goodbye, every unanswered prayer is God shaping your path to match his plan. One day, you will look back at the things you thought you lost and realize they were never meant for you in the first place. What you thought was rejection was God pulling you out of harm's way. What you thought was failure was God preserving your future. What you thought was abandonment was God making room for the right people to enter your life. So the next time rejection shows up, do not see it as a curse. See it as God's shield. He is guarding your heart, your future, and your calling. What feels like rejection is really protection, and what feels like the end is often the beginning of something greater. Trust the hand of God, because every no that comes from Him is a setup for a better yes that will carry you into your destiny. True colors always surface, no matter how carefully someone tries to hide them. A person can smile, pretend, and act supportive for a season, but sooner or later, who they truly are will reveal itself. This is one of the ways God protects us and teaches us discernment. People may put on a mask of loyalty, kindness, or love, but when life applies pressure, that mask begins to crack. You cannot hide your true nature forever. The heart always exposes itself through words, actions, and consistency. That is why you must never judge people by their appearances or their performance in one moment, but by the fruit they consistently produce. When God is taking you somewhere, He allows time and circumstances to test those around you. You cannot see into every heart, but He can. So He uses seasons of blessing, seasons of trial, or seasons of transition to bring out what is hidden. For example, when you are struggling, some people will stay close to you because your weakness makes them feel strong. But when God begins to lift you up, when doors start opening, their attitude shifts. Suddenly their support is no longer as genuine. Their encouragement turns into criticism, or their silence becomes louder than words. That shift is not random. It is exposure. Their true colors are surfacing. The beauty of truth is that it never stays hidden forever. Someone can pretend to love you, but when jealousy is in their heart, it will eventually slip out in how they speak about you or how they celebrate you. Someone can pretend to be loyal, but when betrayal is in their spirit, it will eventually show up in how they handle temptation. Someone can act like they want the best for you, but when envy consumes them, they will reveal themselves by the small ways they undermine or distance themselves. True colors cannot stay buried. God will allow a situation to test the sincerity of every relationship, not to harm you, but to protect you. Think about Judas in the life of Jesus. Judas walked with Him, talked with Him, and ate with Him. For years, Judas looked like a disciple, acted like a disciple, and even worked like a disciple. But his true heart was revealed when money entered the picture. For 30 pieces of silver, Judas showed his true colors. That betrayal was painful, but it was also necessary because God used it as part of the plan for salvation. This reminds us that the exposure of someone's true nature may hurt, but it is never without purpose. God will allow people to show their true selves so that you do not carry counterfeit support into your destiny. True colors also surface when loyalty is tested. It is easy for someone to stand beside you when things are going well, but when trials come, you learn who really believes in you. Some people vanish the moment storms arrive because their connection to you was shallow. Others may even contribute to your struggle by speaking against you when you need encouragement the most. But those who are real will remain because their loyalty was never a mask. They do not need you to be perfect or successful to stand by you. Their true colors are revealed in their consistency. The danger comes when we ignore what God reveals. Too often, We see the signs of someone's true nature and still try to repaint the mask. We excuse their behavior, justify their betrayal, or overlook their inconsistency because we want to hold on to the relationship. But when God shows you who someone really is, believe Him. The exposure is not a mistake. If you continue to hold on to people after their true colors are revealed, you risk carrying the very poison that God was trying to protect you from. The surfacing of true colors is not meant to make you bitter, but wiser. Every time God exposes someone's heart, it sharpens your discernment. It teaches you to value authenticity over appearance. It teaches you to recognize fruit over words. And most importantly, it teaches you that God is faithful to uncover deception so that your life is not built on false foundations. What may look like betrayal or disappointment is often God's way of clearing your circle so that only those who are genuine remain. At some point, every person's heart will reveal itself. No amount of pretending can cover jealousy forever. No amount of performance can hide disloyalty for life. And no amount of charm can disguise selfish motives endlessly. True colors always surface, and when they do, you must see it as God's grace. He is showing you who deserves a seat at your table and who does not. Instead of mourning the loss, thank Him for the revelation, because every mask that falls is another step toward the freedom of walking with people who are real loyal, and aligned with your purpose. Stop repainting the mask, because when God shows you who someone really is, He is doing it for your protection. Too often we see the warning signs, we feel the conviction, and we notice the shift, but instead of accepting the truth, we try to cover it up. We tell ourselves, they didn't mean it, or maybe they'll change, or I just need to give them another chance. But the danger of repainting the mask is that you are ignoring the revelation God has already given you. If He has pulled back the curtain and exposed someone's true nature, it is not your job to make them look better than they are. It is your job to believe what you see and adjust accordingly. People are skilled at wearing masks. A smile can cover envy. Kindness can